Hello and welcome to all future Canadians. This is Sobirovs, managing lawyer of Sobirovs Law Firm. Today we will be talking about startups, how to get your startup ready for the Canadian Startup Visa program. It's a great topic that I will try to cover as much as I can, but I will not delve into the Startup Visa program requirements very much. I will delve into the topic before the application. What needs to be done to get ready for Startup Visa application. It's not just coming up with a brilliant idea. I will describe what I mean now, but this is a great topic that many of our listeners are curious about, how to get your startup ready for the Canadian Startup Visa program. And of course, as usual, I will get to your questions because I enjoy getting real life questions from you during this live show. For those who are joining me for the first time, every Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Toronto time, I go live. I connect with my audience, try to answer their questions, get their concerns and feedback perhaps, and improve our shows as we go further. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so to stay updated and follow us in different social media platforms, okay? Now, usually how it works is that I do a quick presentation for maximum 20 minutes and then I'll get to your questions, okay? So whatever you hear in these live sessions are just my personal views and personal ideas. If you need legal advice, you need to contact a business immigration lawyer who's experienced in these immigration programs, okay? This is the announcement of our topic. So get your questions ready and we will get to them after this short presentation. Okay. Have you ever thought what you need to be doing to prepare your startup for the Startup Visa program? I'm sure that you are aware of Startup Visa program in Canada. It's usually referred to as SUV program, and usually it's advertised as something very easy. You will get your PR at the end of the day. There's no investment from you, and all these rosy and flowery ideas that are being presented in the market. In this live show, you will only get hard facts, the real truth, total transparency, and we will try to address the challenges of this program too, okay? So let's start. One question, let's start with this question. Is having a great idea enough for the Startup Visa program? Let me know your thoughts. Is it enough to have the best idea in the world? To my mind, based on my experience, it's not enough. Ideas are worthless and unattractive without solid research, market traction, and prototype of some sort, okay? A demonstration of your idea. The materialization of your idea is more important than the idea itself. You and I have thousands of great ideas per day. Are they worthy of something? Are they worthy of investment? I don't think so. So when you make your idea ready and in some shape or form you materialize your idea, then it becomes attractive and then you may approach the designated organizations under the Startup Visa program. Your chances of getting the attention of designated organizations will increase only after your idea is realized at a certain level, okay? Many people come to me and say, oh, I have a greatest idea. This will change Canada's life or, the realities in North America. And I said, what is that idea? Right away, they want me to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. And I said, okay, I will sign any NDA. I don't think this is quite enforceable, but anyways. And they try to protect the idea, which they haven't even materialized. They haven't even made any steps towards that idea or to bring it to life, okay? So they are interested, the designated organizations are interested in real deals. So is the Canadian government, okay? Just a blank idea on a piece of paper, maybe the blank, canvas, the startup canvas, is worthless, to be honest. You know, what did you do to bring that idea to life? What steps, concrete steps, did you do to bring that idea to life? So that's what we are focusing on today, okay? Ideas are worthless, that's my statement, unless they are backed up with real traction in real life, okay? There are many brilliant ideas that never materialize. So let's see, in my view, this is the evolution of a startup visa application. Before the application itself, there is a process, there is a journey you need to go to. One, concept development. Your innovative idea, no matter how great it is, needs to be fitted to the market realities in Canada or in North America. Depends which market you're going to. Some people say, I want to bring my startup to Canadian public, okay? Some of them, they say, my ultimate target is North America as a whole. So a sober look at your concept is very necessary. You need to research it thoroughly and understand the realities that you will be dealing in Canada. Your idea may be flying on a very high altitude in Africa, in India, in Vietnam, in any other places, in Europe, but Canada is different. North America is different. The realities in this market is different. So thorough research, sober look at your concept from the Canadian perspective, from North American perspective. Second, pitch preparation and traction. You need to prepare an undeniable pitch, okay? Very attractive pitch. And you have to prove that your concept works in real life. You need to have a market traction. You need to have some sales maybe of your product or service. With a promising concept, see how the market reacts. Because you need to experiment, okay? I want to do this. I've tried this in Canada. This is what I got. Some feedback from the users or customers. So talk to stakeholders. Who will be using your potential product? Come up with beta version or whatever version, delta version, whatever version, just to refine it before you even think of designated organizations, okay? Before you even think of startup visa. Okay, test and tweak. You need to test. There will be mistakes, tons of them. Mock pitches, do interview practice. This is what you need to do, because you need to make the first impression very solid with the designated organizations. You cannot go back and forth with them. You need to do that experimenting, that brewing before you approach designated organization. Then, of course, pitching to designated organization is the third step, with some backup research, real life surveys, research about your product and service, and allies in Canada. You probably, during that research, during that journey, you will be making allies, you will be making friends who will say, oh, by the way, this may fly in Vietnam, but in Canada, this is so and so, and give you real life feedback. You can apply, after that, you can apply for designated organizations. Now, you know startup visa program eligibility requirements inside out, so I will not be touching that, but I will be highlighting what possible services or activities you probably be doing before being able to address the designated organizations under the startup visa. So, for example, you need to first be very trained for interviews by incubators. You know, incubators being I would say, the less burdensome designated organization among those DOs that are approved on the startup visa. As you know, it's incubators, angel investors, VC firms and organizations. So first you need to be trained on an interview, how to interview with incubators, okay? Now, many people in the market, they are advertising that, oh, for startup visa, you don't really need English. No, you need English. You need a very solid English to be able to respond to the interview questions. When angel investor is asking for interview, for example, they want to know. VC is asking for some questions. You need to be able to respond in a very persuasive way. Okay, interview support in real time. Sometimes you need some support of an expert. For example, you are the CEO of the startup, but you are not a biology major, or you are not a biochem graduate, but you bring an expert who is in biology, chemistry, or whatever, and you will be doing together. So you have a real-time support during the interview. Concept improvement. Concept improvement is a iterative process. It brings in, you fine-tune your concept, and then you do it again. So it is done before going to designated organization. Business model development, market research. Market research, you shouldn't underestimate that. Customer preference, consumer preferences in Canada, in North America, you need to understand that even before thinking about your concept, right? Competitive analysis, this is of course part of your business plan, a marketing plan, staffing plan, execution plan, and so on. And if your startup involves some kind of IP related aspect, so IP protection and application if applicable, then incorporation, that's a legal side. So as you know, startup visa program is for only eligible businesses, which means incorporated businesses in Canada and so on. So you need to see that eligibility. So legal and tax analysis in general, because they will be asking that question. They may be asking that questions during your pitching process, right? Potential buyers and database. If you have done some market traction in Canada with your startup idea, before even going to startup visa program, if you did some market activities, you have some buyers who are interested in your product, in your service, that's great. That's a big plus. What that proves is your product is needed in the market. And only then the designated organization will be interested. The question is, will this concept or product fly? Yes, it flies. Look, I have buyers in your market. That's the answer you want to be giving. Finding manufacturers, suppliers, and developers. Usually that's a more prototyping kind of startup. You need to create a prototype of something to demonstrate a tangible thing. If you're doing some not software of course, but tangible item that is readily produced by certain manufacturers, you may come up with the greatest item in the world, but you may not find any manufacturers for them, right? You need to approach them, prototype, and say, yes, this could be produced for this much money, and this will be the margin of profit, and so on. And professional association. It's very important to hook up with professional associations in Canada and North America. They may be some kind of your allies in your startup visa applications. Maybe signing a letter of intent or a memorandum of understanding with the buyers or consumers in Canada. Getting Canadian contracts, that's an ultimate goal. You may say, by the way, my product, my startup product or service already has a contract, a valid contract in Canada. That's a great statement to make before the designated organizations. Of course, I talked about prototyping. Website development goes without saying because you need your website up and running. Visual material, creative stuff, and presentation speech, how you present. You have a very small amount of time and money, to be honest, to do all this and pitch to the designated organizations. You need to be really prepared before even applying to designated organizations. Now, the designated organization landscape overall looks like this in my mind. Incubators, let's say, I wouldn't say the lowest, but the earliest, right? They hatch your idea. If they like your idea, they can take you to their incubation program. It's a workable concept. They believe, yeah, it could work. Yeah, that's a good idea. They get it. During the incubation, you refine your concept, but with the Canadian realities, you add some spices and make it more attractive. Access to resources through incubators is very key. This is what they offer at the end of the day is incubate and hatch your product. Then come angel investors, where they are putting down early money, let's say, early money to grow your concept, refine it further, initial funding for your activities and so on. They now, compared to incubators, they're getting greater risk because they're putting some of the money, real money, into your idea. It's still an empty idea, but they are trusting that it will fly. They're putting the money, so they're getting more risk on their shoulders. Initial traction could be done with angels' money, right? Because you can say, yeah, I brought my concept to this stage, but from this stage to the next stage, I need X amount of money. In case of angel investors, it's minimum of 75,000 should be secured from angels. Then comes the advanced level, the big guys, the big pockets and so on, VCs. They say, okay, now you came from hatching, your idea is in a chicken stage, let's say, like chick stage. Little chick will fly now. Okay, let me put some more money, let it fly. Okay, larger investment, scaling up the concept. Now they truly believe in your idea, and of course they do thorough due diligence inside out. So you need to be ready for that due diligence even before coming to this stage. So thorough due diligence, and of course VCs realize that putting down the money is the biggest risk, and 9 out of 10 startups will never materialize. They will just crush. Only one may fly, and then they make up their money at the exit, right? So that's the landscape you need to always keep in mind when you are addressing the startup visa program. Okay, another misconception that I hear all the time is, oh, you don't spend a lot of money on startup visa. You will get the PR at the end of the day. Just great idea, come to us, you will not spend your money. No, you will spend your money. And let me show you how you spend your money on the startup. Mostly you spend your money to develop your startup. In what I mean by that, incubation programs, they probably ask for money. And before even incubation, there's a preparatory work that I mentioned here, right? This is the work that you need to do. Preparatory work probably will range from 50,000 Canadian to 100,000 Canadian. That's the budget. Then legal work, lawyers involved in all this, from incorporation all the way to the application of startup visa, around $40,000. Trust me, now you are not using investors' money for this kind of work, huh? This is your money. This is not yet designated organizations' money. And of course, government wants you to have a settlement fund for yourself, for your personal needs. The founder's family must have the money, for settlement, starting at 12,000, around 12, 13,000 per person, per one single person family. If there's an additional members of the family, it will increase slightly, and it will go all the way to 30, 35, 37,000 for 7-member family. So this is more personal cost, right? Those who say that a startup visa journey is investment free, pitching you that idea, oh, you will not invest. It's the angels who will invest. It's the VCs who will invest. No, you will invest too. Trust me, you will invest into your business if you want to come to Canada, okay? Then if they're promising you this investment free idea, then they're giving you not the full picture, okay? They're being very simplistic, to my mind. Don't be simplistic in any immigration matter. Don't be simplistic. Just a side note on that. Okay, incubation, of course. Incubation now, I'm going with the minimums because incubation is the lowest cost you will have, right? Incubations are even before the letter of support from the incubator. You will have to spend money sometimes for incubation. Some programs are fee-based. It's not for free. Of course, there are some free incubators, but most of them have fees associated with incubation, right? Now, letter of support ultimately is the goal before application. It's goal to get that letter of support from designated organizations. Completing the incubation program, in the case of business incubator, of the designated incubator may result in getting this letter of support. There is a requirement. You need to attend online classes. You need to refine your concept. You need to present your concept. There are some to-do items during the incubation. It's not just, okay, I'll give you the incubator money and that's it. You give me the letter of support. No, not like that. You need to follow the incubation program and requirements. Okay? Now we come to SUV application. Very briefly, the startup visa application is, there are three main events that will happen. Letter of support that you will get. This letter of support is a one piece of the bigger puzzle, but that's where it starts, right? Letter of support, and your application is done very, diligently. The SUV application is ready. Now your lawyer will help you to apply. You apply for permanent resident application. That's the first step you do. After the application, keep in mind the reporting requirements every 3 months, 6 months. There's a requirement now of progress. Okay, it's not just, okay, I give you money, let me get the PR and then I will start moving. No, not like that. You start moving with your startup idea right away. You don't wait and see. One aspect of that is work permit application. Once you get a letter of support, once you apply to your to permanent residency, now it's time for you should apply. It's advisable to apply for work permit to come to Canada and start, put the shovel into the ground, start working. Okay, that's what I see. A lot of complaints now in the social media and in the immigration community. Oh, startup visa is 32 months processing time. 32 months. After that, there will be a response. And they are sitting and waiting, not even touching finger to finger, right? There's 32 months. But what are you doing for your startup? If you're passionate about your idea, you need to be working on your startup. Maybe you're trying to find some buyers in Canada. What are you doing in real life? Are you just, you submitted and you're waiting for your PR? I don't think that's a good strategy, because let me be brutally honest. Once you get the PR from, let's think like a government, okay? Let's think like a Canadian government. Once I give this person a PR under startup visa program, what is the guarantee that he or she will live up to that startup visa idea, will push the idea forward? What's the guarantee after PR? Okay, that's the thought process on the Canadian government side, and you are seeing now that Canadian government requires a reporting, every once a while, every 3 months. What are you doing on your startup? What's the milestone you achieved so far? And what's the genuineness? That shows the genuineness. It's not just a for PR getting method. It's business first, immigration second. Business first, immigration second. Okay? That's why you need to start moving your application, your startup forward. That's the logic I always push forward, and it's not a wait and see model. Okay? Overall process. It's my very bad graphic design skill. So overall process at the end of the day looks like this, including all the startup life. Okay, the whole startup life is like this: develop, incubate. Okay, incubate meaning that refine it all the time. Refine it. Try to tweak it a little bit based on the market feedback. Apply for startup visa, and then you regularly report, and then you get the PR. Apply means also the work permit application too, right? It's not just a PR application and then, okay, 32 months. In 32 months, I will be Canadian PR. That's all I need. No, you need to push your startup forward. It's not just one touch application. You touch your startup many times, regularly, on a regular basis. The whole idea, the whole philosophy behind the startup visa program is to bring great entrepreneurs who will be moving the needle forward. It's not the passive investors who are coming to Canada just for PR, okay? It is entrepreneurs with the right spirit, with the genuine intention, with a great plan to make Canadian economy better, to create more jobs for Canadian, to make Canadian export potential better, right? You become a Canadian startup and you start exporting and so on. So whoever is trying to give you that impression of startup visa program equals to passive investment and then you become a PR, no, never. Now you will see there are thousands of applications in the pipeline and government is being meticulous on who is genuine applicant, who is not genuine applicant, who is doing it just for PR, who is doing it just to run the business, okay? So there will be a lot of scrutiny coming up. So it all starts well before the startup visa application, and each stage requires certain activities to be completed regularly. I will repeat myself, it's not wait and see kind of model. I will apply for PR through startup visa, I got the letter of support, and let me wait for my PR before I do anything realistic and material, okay? This is not the philosophy. Now, if you need any support on any stage, at any stage of this startup journey, we are here to support you at every step. We've done it genuinely, and we have necessary helpers who are experts in the field to have a sober look on your idea, okay? To criticize you if necessary. You say, even before designated organizations start criticizing your idea, we should be criticizing your idea and refining it before and making it stronger, okay? If you have any great startup visa idea and the necessary capital to realize that idea in Canada, in this beautiful country, we welcome you to Canada. We welcome you to Canada. You can work with us. We can guide you in the right direction and give you an honest feedback at every step. Okay? All right, that was my passionate statements about startup visa. And if you have any questions, I would love some questions from you. Let me know where you're joining us from, and let me know if you have a startup idea. If you do have it, let's discuss it. So let me go to the questions. All right. Now I will pull all the comments. I have lots of comments here. Let me start with Bhupinder Nanda. Hi, Bhupinder Nanda from India. Hello. Hello, hello. Can your firm help me in the valuation of a running business if I choose it myself? Yes, I don't do the valuation. I have a certified valuator with whom I have good connections. He will evaluate it for you, okay? I'm not a valuation firm, but we have the right people who can evaluate it for you, okay? It's a fee-based service, but valuation can be done, yes. You might remember I asked you the last week about medical equipment business in Manitoba. Yes, I remember you, Mr. Nanda. Welcome back again. Here's another question. Since an incubator doesn't invest any money, is the applicant required to approach a VC or angel for funding later? It's not required. Under the Startup Visa program, if you are accepted to an incubation program and issued a letter of support by the incubator, that's sufficient enough for Startup Visa program. But if you really need cash to realize your startup, then of course you should come up with money from somewhere. It could be investors, angel investors, it could be VC capital, VC firms, okay? You are not required, but I believe you need to secure some funding from somewhere, okay? What is the ballpark amount money charged by an incubator to support a startup visa? Ballpark, as I said in my presentation, it's around 30 to 40,000, depends. I would go with a conservative number. 40,000 Canadian is for fee-based incubation programs. Okay. All right, that's a good question. And what's the typical time frame for a response from IRCC after submission of a startup visa application? And my addition is PR application or work permit application? Which one? If it's PR application, usual time frame of what kind of response? Like a decision? If it's a decision, then at the moment it's 32 months for PR decision, permanent residence decision. But for work permit, it's between 4 to 6 months. Based on our experience, work permits are faster these days. All right. And you can find, dear listeners, you can find more information about startup and the realistic expectations on our website. Always check Sobirovs Law Firm. If you're lost in finding an answer to certain questions, go and check let me see, here we go, yeah. Go and check the website and you will find a lot of answers to your questions. We have a dedicated section for startups, okay? Startup Visa Canada Guide, options for startup companies, starting a business in Canada as a foreigner, as a foreign entrepreneur, C11 work permit, which is related to startup environment, and self-employed professionals. Some of them may qualify to immigration as to start a new business. So the whole topic of startups is discussed in this section, okay? Go and check the startup, the minimums and so on, the process, everything is done there. And we have several videos on startups. This one will be another one, the new one, but we already have a year ago, I think we did this video about the dilemmas and challenges of a startup visa program. The biggest challenge is the processing time, unfortunately. But if you are genuine in your intentions to do business in Canada and you're not just focused on getting a PR, I think a genuine entrepreneur will, regardless of the outcome of immigration, will move forward with his business idea, or her business idea, okay? It's a genuineness is the key here. Bhupinder, another question. Last week you told me there are federal programs also available. No need to go to PNP enterprises. Can you suggest anything apart from ICT? Yeah, I can suggest C11, a significant benefit work permit. It's something that you can come on a work permit and then prepare yourself for permanent residence. It will be faster than PNP most of the time. Okay. And can you tell me why you are not interested in intra-company transfers? Intra-company transfer could be one of the fastest routes. Here we go. Do you help with business plans which are part of the pitch? If so, approximate fees and charges. Yes, we do help with business plan. We have an in-house business plan specialist for our clients. But if your business idea is beyond the scope of expertise of our team, we have outsiders who are providing that service. The ballpark of a thorough business plan is about $10,000 to $15,000 for the startup visa program. It depends what kind of business plan you mean. Is it the startup visa business plan or ICT business plan, C11 business plan? So it depends. It ranges from all the way from 5,000 all the way to 15,000. So pick and choose. Depends on the exact idea that you want to realize in Canada. Okay. Yes, we do help with business plans. Now, on our website in the FAQ section, we have a very thorough FAQ section. You can check that. On the home page, there's a FAQ here. If you go to FAQs, there are many questions about startup visa program, buying a business in Canada. There are lots of Q&As that we prepared for your convenience. It's based on our real life experience. It's not theoretical FAQs. Okay. All right, let me come back to questions. Any other questions? I see another question from Bhupinder. Let me see. My running business in Canada is small with only 5 employees, so don't need ICT. How about the revenue? If you have 5 employees but very impressive revenue, it could still fit into the ICT. Depends. Everything is dependent on a thorough analysis of your business. That's why I suggest that you get a lot of value if you book a 1-hour strategy meeting with our lawyers. We will go into each question and try to answer them as much as we can on a one-on-one basis. That's a great value for those who are seriously considering immigrating to Canada. I think that's it for today. 37 minutes and 2 seconds I've been talking to you. Thank you very much for your active participation. And as always, I enjoy talking to you. Let me know what other topics you want me to discuss during this live shows. Next week, we will come back to you again with a great new topic. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share with others. Sharing is caring, as they say. See you next week, future Canadians. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.